Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where we are currently waiting on this rebel uprising to do whatever it is they're going to do over here in Oinos. And that's going to be a little bit, unless we wanted to provoke the Revolt. That would mean that they're 50% stronger, and I don't think that that's a great idea. There's quite a lot of unrest here right now. Separatism will decay by half a point yearly until 1529. So for the moment, I think we'll just leave this be. I am interested in seizing land back, but the Dynatoi, they need to have some more loyalty before we can do that. So that's absolutely understood, and we're keeping an eye on this. What is the chance of this going up? 8.7%. Okay. At this pace, the next revolt will be in about 1.9 years, so that is absolutely understood. So it's going to be a little while there, and our leader is now a sinner. Sure. Our innovativeness is decreasing, and I'm interested at this point in getting ourselves a building. So we can't actually build any workshops. I don't know why this shows up like we can. We can't. We can, however, build churches, and I'm interested in building one church. We still, I believe, need the, let's see, we need infrastructure projects, right? Yeah, so we need a bunch more buildings in the Elysia area. Noted. So that'll be absolutely understood, and we'll work on that soon enough. These separatists, I would really like for them to actually pop. What if we simply yoinked autonomy from them? That's going to mean more issues later, most likely, but I'm going to do it. So now they have a bunch more unrest, and they now have a 15% chance. This is now going to be approximately within the next year. So we'll see what happens here. And that's going to continue to go down over time, of course, as the separatism decays. And that should be absolutely okay. And there's also that religious unity, too, which I am interested in dealing with some of that religious unity, but for the time being, we need to get this done. Let's see here. A base tax for 5 Patriarch Authority is pretty good. Are we still net negative on the Patriarch Authority drift now that we've reformed a bit? No. Okay. So this is net static. We're taking the base tax. Okay, so that seems fine for right now. And Spartania is asking us to give them 29 ducats. We're going to decline. We want all the gold we can get. So I want to check in here. This is now at 90, so this could happen any month tick. There's a 15% chance each month tick that this happens. Okay. So we're just waiting for this to actually occur. We do have our spy network up over here with the Mahicans, and I want to dispatch missionaries to them. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to fabricate a claim on them eventually, but we can't actually do that because they apparently don't have neighboring provinces. I guess colonies don't count. Our missionaries were successful, so that's neat. So they are now Elysian Orthodox. Perfect. Okay, there's that rebellion. We are going to attack them eventually, but let's take down the rebellion for now. That's mission number 1 here. Okay, and we can seize land soon enough. We're going to head up over this direction, and we're going to need to recover some of these troops, obviously. We took quite a lot of pain, actually, there. That was pretty painful. So that's understood, and there's that recent uprising that means that we're not going to have any issues here for a while, but we will eventually have issues here. That's understood. So we do want to do some conversion eventually. What do we got going on here? A base tax or 100 population in Neo-Lamani. Generally speaking, the base tax is always going to be better. So we'll take a base tax there, and we're going to have this filled up fairly soon anyway. So that looks great, and how are we doing on the Dynatoi opinion? Well, it's not quite where we want to be yet, but it is drifting upwards by 0.2 per month. So we're like 6 months away, approximately, from having this where we want to be. So that's understood for now. And we have another rebel uprising brewing up, Totemist Zealots, up over here. So that is specifically here. This is happening because of this conversion, and that conversion is going to be done in a little under a year. I'm going to move our troops back to here, and they're going to sit here to drop that unrest down. So the idea is that that's going to delay this, unless we have really bad luck. That's going to delay this long enough to get this conversion completed. So that should be fine, and we can see that the primary issue here is the active missionary and the intolerance. Those will get dealt with, so that seems okay. Now we can build another church, which we're going to do. We want to get those building as rapidly as possible, that's for sure. So that's absolutely wonderful, and we are going to go after the Mahicans, and we're going to head down this direction fairly soon. Now, I'm checking out here to see if there's any Europeans showing up over here yet. It looks like the answer is not yet, which is a little surprising, but we'll see if any of them start showing up soon. Okay. So how are we doing on this conversion here? The answer is 93%. I like it. We can seize land shortly. A couple of our truces ended. That's fine. Okay. So we're at 49.52. We're going to be... Okay, 49.71. We're going to be waiting 2 more month ticks, looks like. And then this will go up over 50. So this is now converted. We can move these guys out of here. In the old world, our ancestors ruthlessly integrated surrounding cultures into the greater Roman cultural sphere. Despite our best efforts to follow in these footsteps, we cannot deny that the Barbaroi are also leaving their marks on us. As the first Elysian-born generations take their places in our society, our cultural identity is being reshaped by the influences of Barbaroi, Varangians, Plethonists, and Patriarchs, leaving behind only the most resilient core of who we are. With the nightmare of our Greek ancestors' declining empire gone, we're left with only the most valuable of ideological cargo brought with us from the old world. Our most precious dream. The dream called Rome. Will we ever return? Romaic is now our primary culture. Okay, so a lot of these are not Romaic culture, and it's very expensive to convert provinces in this game. Actually, this isn't too bad, but this is going to Delaware or Picot. And we can't convert that to Romaic because it already is. So yeah, that's not as expensive as I expected that to be. So if we wanted to convert this to Romaic, that would cost 54 dip power. Do it. So we'll get that started. That's a good use of our dip power. Well, we'll lose some dip power. I guess that works. We can convert provinces to Elysian Orthodox, which we will definitely do. And we're interested in more diplomatic, or not diplomatic conversion, cultural conversion. So we're going to want to integrate all of these into Romaic culture, and that is definitely what we're going to be working on. So that's going to be the primary expenditure. Oh, this is Albanian. Yeah, that's Albanian. So that's not going to be a thing as of right now. And this one is currently busy building a church. That's understood. And this one is currently being converted. Okay, the islands to the south of our great nation, known as Cycladia to our people, have undergone quite a shift in recent decades. Being relatively isolated from the rest of the empire has resulted in our settlers in the region adopting some of the strange customs of the native Taino, such as a form of ancestor and nature worship, mixed with our own beliefs. This has led to the creation of many smaller communities divided along ancestral lines, with a focus on maritime trade and piracy, as long as they serve the capital. Okay, so that looks good. We're going to be finishing up in Ecos right now, so let's get that converting over to Romaian. And if we went into cultural map mode, where is cultural map mode? Is that a political? It is. Okay, so here we can see the cultures. Yeah, that's definitely going to need some work. No doubt about that. We can seize land, and this is absolutely something we should do right now. So we're going to get that done and take back some of that crownland. Seems perfect. We can also set an agenda here, which we should do. So let's see what we've got here. Base tax in Elysia, base production in Dedis. We're taking that. Okay, so base production in Dedis needs to go up to 5. So that means we do that. And then we would need to increase the manpower here a little bit. And then we would need to bring this up. which we can do once we have 47 diplomatic power, which we'll have right now. Perfect. So that gained us 60 ducats and means that we can now get another church going, which we'll be delighted to do. So that's underway. I like it. And we're also bringing up our admin power. We're about to get admin tech 6, which is going to give us access to workshops. That's great. Really, really good. Treason against Romania. Recruitment is, out of necessity, something that has to be a somewhat decentralized affair. Often it will be entrusted to nobles in the capital, and then they're responsible to turn up a set number of men in the various provinces under our control. This is a system that to some extent relies on trust, as the central government is not involved in the details of countryside mustering, and the only form of control we have are the often sporadic inspections the army itself conducts. One such inspection in Metheny has unearthed quite a local scandal. The rolls we have for the area is full of fictional names, and nobody seems to know what we could actually muster from the region. So we can do our own survey here, and that's something that we're going to do. That's a lot of local unrest, but 2.5 army professionalism. What is our current army professionalism? 17.06. This is actually not going to be a problem. That's not going to drop us down below our army professionalism threshold. So that sounds good, and I would be delighted to fabricate a claim up here, but we're just kind of waiting on this colony to finish at this point, which will be in the next couple of months. That shouldn't be a big deal. So there's admin tech 6. That's excellent. And okay, we have a new heir? Sure, to everlasting friendship. Okay, so we're going to be able to start building workshops now, and that's phenomenal. Look at how much we could make from that. 0.24 just from Elysia. That's huge. So we're definitely going to get that going. That's absolutely phenomenal. How are we doing on our cultural conversions here? So this is currently Delaware. It has separatism. Okay, our colony here is now self-sustaining. So we're going to head down over this way. Colonists will arrive there eventually, and we're going to make this into a state, and that, of course, means that we're going to have to full core this. So that's 24 admin power down the drain. But I want to attack the Mahicans at this juncture, so we're going to immediately fabricate a claim on them, but I think we might have to let this update. We have a neighboring province. Let's give it a month tick. Has no possible neighboring province to fabricate a claim on. What do you call this? That looks like a neighboring province to me. Well, okay then. So apparently we can't fabricate a claim on them. We have military access as well, which we should definitely revoke. So we'll cancel that military access. Maybe that's why we couldn't do this? No, that's definitely not the case. This is very strange. I don't know why it thinks that we don't have a neighboring province. But okay. We have excellent supplies, so that's something anyway. And our general has died. So let's roll up a new one. That last general sucked anyway. Let's see what this guy is. Actually, that's pretty good. 4 shock? Yeah, we'll take it. So that seems okay, and I guess we'll just be drilling if we... Oh, these guys are actually full on together now. Noted. So we don't have a CB on these. No, we do have a CB on them. Never mind, then. I don't know when we got a CB on this. It must have been one of the missions. That's why we can't make claims, because we already have claims. So that makes sense. So we're letting this refill a little bit, and we're going to declare on these guys right now. Definitely. We're not going to call in any of these. It doesn't matter. So we're going to take Mahican, and this will be fine. We're going to head in right here. And they can't really do anything to us. They've blockaded us down here, and that could cost us admin power, but... Sorry. We're going to say no. No, we don't want to give you ducats. Thank you very much. So we're going to head on up over here and get this siege underway. They are sieging up this direction. They have a couple of forts up here, and we should have a pretty good advantage on them on sieging this. So that seems good. I don't think that we need to have these forts up. So we're going to turn those down for the moment. Our diplomat died, which is honestly not the worst thing in the world. That means that we're making 7.4 ducats per month now. That's kind of huge. Okay, so next up, we are going to build a province improvement. This is going to be a workshop, and we're going to build that in Aros. So we'll get that going. We're working our way through these missions, that's for sure. So Roman diplomacy, of course, is already completed. Parabellum is, reform the administration is at least 50 cities. Okay, yeah. And then this would be, has embraced colonialism. Diplomatic tech at least 9, so that'll happen eventually. Standardizing the currency would be a big deal. But we'll get to all of these things. Indeed. Okay, hello, Consul. So we're going to be heading up over this way and continuing to colonize up here pretty soon. The question is, do we want to run multiple colonies at this point? We don't have multiple colonists, but that's not stopping us from running multiple colonies if we want to. We've got the money, so I'm going to recall this guy. And we're going to head up and colonize up over here as well. So this is going to be slowly growing, right? We'll lose legitimacy here. We won the siege here. And we're going to go up and relieve this siege. This will stack wipe them. Probably. Actually, it didn't quite stack wipe them. But we can come back over here, and this guy gained the ruthless trait. That's wonderful. No debate in Senate. Okay, we should definitely start a debate here. And what do we want to push through? Base tax by 1 in 1 province? Yes. So we're going to do that, and we could give Alesia the use of Crownland, but I don't like that. Lose an army tradition. Dynatoy gain 2 influence. I don't mind that. And we've got 90%. Okay, that'll do. So these guys are retreating somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, but they're running a very long ways away. Well, okay then. So this is going to all be fully under our control very shortly, right? And that's absolutely wonderful. So we currently have this down here growing at 381, and this is at 220. Noted. So this is at 60 per year. This is at 85 per year from the native colonial integration, right? Cool. So that seems good for now. We are definitely expanding faster. And this is now done. We can, at this point, just take all of their territory is the goal. So it'll be something like that. That's quite a bit of aggressive expansion, but no actual issue here. Done. This fort is kind of a useful fort to keep around, so I guess we can keep that. And then we'll head back over this direction. We're going to need to core all of these, of course, so we'll get all that going. And then I'm interested in getting, let's see, 0.07 versus 0.07. So it's the same at this point. We can build a workshop up over here. Cool. So we're definitely expanding quite a lot here. An absent merchant, huh? Institution spread. Do we actually have any institutions spreading right now, though? The answer is no. Colonialism doesn't exist at this moment. Does that mean no one in Europe is going for colonialism? That'd be kind of wild. If that's the case, there's no point in taking the institution spread. So we'll take the mercantilism for now. Okay, barbarian allies. We once rejected the barbarians as savages, barely even human, but changing ideals and pure pragmatism have led to a reassessment of that. We've integrated some and conquered others, but the Romanization of such large groups has only been partially successful. The barbarians, under our aegis, the Light of Rome, have taken to calling themselves Simichoi, our allies instead of Romans, though there is little difference in governance. Allies or subjects, though, these partially integrated barbarians now serve the state instead of their tribes. At least we can teach them to bathe. So the culture up here is going to become Simichoi. The local tribal development is assimilating, preventing it from ever emigrating. And this is going to enable the decision to hide cultural assimilation notifications. Okay. Which we can use to suppress the notification that a province's culture was assimilated. Sure. Well, that's definitely going to be proceeding for a while. No doubt about that. So, assimilating all of that culture will be great. I want these guys to go to drilling for now. We converted the heretics of Oinos, and we're going to send these over to Neo-Limani. Off they go. Excellent. So we will continue our conversions here. Maritime culture is developing in Caesarea? I'm going to go with Caesarea. Ships are being produced by the dozen in the ports of Caesarea. People in the region are being raised to be sailors or merchants instead of farmers or artisans. One can almost smell the mercantilism and exchange of currency in Caesarea. So I'm not sure where exactly Caesarea is. That is this right here. Okay, so that's a base production. Fantastic. We can get another level of splendor here, and I'm thinking feudal de jure law. There we go. And everything is proceeding pretty well at this point. Ah, yes, the Grand Palace. Honestly, I want to spend that money on other things. So we're not going to do that for now. Now these guys up here, they are our allies. And for the time being, that will remain. Eventually, we'll look to integrate them as well. But as of right now, we've got plenty of other opportunities. So that looks fine for the moment. Not seeing any Europeans just yet, and once they do show up, or rather, when they're interested in showing up, colonialism should spawn. I think. Wouldn't it be awkward if colonialism just never spawns? Okay, so Ecos is now the correct culture. Perfect. And this is currently at 85 per year, 494 settlers, and this is currently at 350. So yeah, 2 colonies is definitely viable. In fact, we could do more. We could probably do a 3rd. We don't really want to go over about 4 because I think, if I remember correctly, it increases quadratically over 4. And that's not great. If we have more than 1 colonies and or colonists working on settlement growth, the cost grows quadratically. Yeah, so for now, 2 will do, is the answer. We'll eventually be interested in expanding that. Let's see, 0.07 and 0.06, so we would definitely go with 0.07. Sounds great. As representatives of areas that are sometimes quite distant from Nea Constantinopolis, many senators often find that life in the capital during their visits is very different to what they're used to. Some find it both cramped and filthy, and many seem quite relieved when they get to return home. This year has proven even harder than usual to endure for the delicate sensitivities of our senators. The hot months have been unusually hot, the wet months unusually wet, and the cold months unusually cold. A number of senators have now decided that they've had enough and have approached us asking to help us make their stays more pleasant. So we could say no, which would cause Eros to now oppose appropriate land for the state, and that's what we're going to do. We can just lose 1 legitimacy here, and this is fine. We're still at 90%. There's no difference. So a 1 legitimacy hit is not a problem. I'd rather take a 1 legitimacy hit, rather, than spend 23 ducats that we don't have. So that'll be absolutely wonderful. Ah, Caesarea, it now has the culture we desire. Perfect. And we can continue working on converting some of these. They're separatists up over here. So we're going to go deal with those. And I'm going to unmothball this fort, so that hopefully we don't get the separatism here if they cap that. Okay, local settler increase in... Is that this location? Yes. So that brings us up to that same 85 per year. We're at 390 here, and down here we're at 551. Beautiful. Okay, so we won this, and we'll cap that back, no problem. We, of course, don't need to have this fort maintained anymore, and we'll bring our army back to Elysia. Perfect. Okay, we can seize land, and this is actually a good timing to do so. So we're going to definitely seize back some of that land. Perfect. That's going to be an ongoing issue. The Age of Reformation has begun at this point. So that is absolutely a thing. Cool. I want to check in on trade here. Do we see any other solid trade nodes at this point? I mean, there's this one. So we could transfer from trade power up here at this point. And yeah, that's a good thing to do. So we're going to transfer from trade power, and we're transferring it up to our home node, which is ideal. Okay, so that will hopefully gain us a little bit more from trade, but it's not going to be significant. That's interesting. There's a battle going on over there. Sure, that seems fine for right now. So we're working on getting some of this tech up, right? We'd like to get our admin tech a little bit caught up at this point. Mill tech, we are needing colonialism, but I don't think that that exists anywhere in the world at this juncture. And it's because the interest in overseas exploration hasn't been renewed. This might be something that we need to do on in the missions. Rival Vinland. Are they not our ally? They're our ally. I don't want to rival Vinland. We'll take the hit to our power projection. It's fine. So that seems fine for the moment. Power projection is not that big of a deal right now. And we're going to get this core finished up here. All of these cores finishing will, of course, be huge for us. But the fact that we no longer have to deal with our exiled government mechanic is huge. That's a very, very big deal. So we're incredibly happy about that. What is this? A wealthy merchant named Atma Referdaughter has recently arrived at the Emperor's court from the snowy reaches of Vinland. For years, she has striven to show her people of the merits of trading with their allies instead of always raiding them, though, as expected, it has been somewhat difficult. In an attempt to bridge the gap between our peoples, Atma has offered her services to Rome in a more formal capacity, with the goal of creating a new trade route and diplomatic contacts. As a show of good faith, Atma also offered bottles of the finest mead and honey from her ancestral lands as a gift for the Emperor. So we could have her be a diplomat, or we could have her be a diplomat. Or actually, this is a goods produced modifier. That's better. Okay. So that's wonderful, and we would want to hire her then in here, I think? She is cheaper, but only 25% cheaper. And only a level 2. I don't see her in here as of right now. Oh no, here she is. Okay, so goods produced modifier, that would be great. 4.84 monthly, that's pretty expensive. And we can afford it, though. Okay. 3.28? It's not too bad. Okay, so the Vinland trade deal is no longer a thing. We can make a state up over this direction, which is, of course, is going to let us full core all of this. There we go. So that seems fine for now. And it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue to expand. We're starting to get reasonably large at this point, but we've got a ways to go. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGard, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.